Open your ears and lube up your butthole. It's time for the What Do We Call It podcast. Now, here's your host. It's Jmann. Welcome to the What Do We Call It podcast. I'm Jmann.
And I'm number one fan, Tim.
I want you to think of a few things here as I describe them. I want you to picture them.
Okay.
The kid walking down the street with his nose in his phone, not paying attention to the world around him.
Okay. Got it.
Women on dating sites that most of their profile is what they do not want in a man. Not what they want, not what they're looking for really, what they don't want.
Ah, you bitch.
Okay.
Picture some guy who goes to the bar and he's using Tinder to find some chick nearby just so he can get some quick pussy.
Okay.
Now picture a bunch of millennials sitting at a table at a restaurant, and they're not talking to each other, and they're playing on their goddamn phones.
Pathetic, but yeah, I got it.
And lastly, picture a guy who gets hit by a car. And he's laying on the pavement in pain. And instead of helping him, everybody else just pulls out their phones to videotape this shit.
Okay.
Do you see a common theme?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
And what is that?
Everybody's staring at their phones.
Okay, but there's something a little bit larger that I'm not so subtly hinting at. And that is...
People aren't socializing.
People are antisocial. So...
Well, it's not they're antisocial, it's just they're not socializing.
People don't know how to fucking communicate anymore. Eye contact, holding a conversation. You try to talk to somebody younger than 20, and they just don't know how to fucking have a conversation without a screen involved.
Yeah, no, that's true. I'm actually getting sick of texting. Like, I can understand using texting for like a, okay, got it, or something, you know, like the wife says, pick up some bread. It's like, okay, got it. But to have an entire conversation in text form is just, back when 2-3 years ago, I was like, yeah, this is easier. I can respond. I have time to formulate my thought. But now, it's like, fuck, this is annoying. I'm just going to call this person. Like,
picture AI, artificial intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
Before he died, on multiple occasions, Stephen Hawking gave warnings about AI being the end of humanity.
Skynet.
Exactly. It invokes images of Terminator 2 and Skynet going live and the computers and machines becoming self-aware, becoming more human, and that's the destruction of mankind as the machines rise up and take over. Where I'm going at with this, I don't think AI is the problem. I think the problem is not that the machines are going to become more human. It's that humans are becoming cold and unfeeling and robotic, like machines. And this will be the undoing of mankind as we become lesser and lesser able to communicate with each other comfortably. Less of our lives will involve human interaction instead of automation and doing things through, like Skype or FaceTime and like augmented reality, or people that only interact online through gaming consoles with, quote, friends they have all over the world. Boom, headshot! We're becoming more like machines. But think of back to when I said about somebody gets injured and everyone's first instinct is to pull out their phone and record it, to share it.
Or there's a fight, yeah. There's a lot of that on YouTube, and, honestly, the videos like that shouldn't even be on YouTube.
It's the emotional and cognitive disconnect. People are living spiritually through devices. We're becoming robotic. They can't even function. There's couples that sit in bed and maybe they used to sit and talk, or maybe they'd read a book, or maybe they'd watch TV together, and now they're each on their own little device with their earbuds.
See, that's not Mrs. Number One and I. She'll read a book, I might watch a little TV, or we'll watch TV together. I haven't been reading books lately. I've been listening to them on my Zune player. But still, it's literature. It's making me use my imagination and everything. I like it. So.
Babs, come over here and say hi to Bill Gates.
Hello, Mr. Gates.
Hey, Bill, would you help me program my Zune? Oh, wait, I have an iPod like the rest of the world. Why, you?
I just am very afraid of how callous and unpersonable people have gotten. They just don't care because our society's gotten so vitriolic on the internet. Everyone's got free reign to say whatever they want, and it just builds up all that intolerance for mankind. We don't interact with each other enough to be empathetic to each other's causes and thoughts and wants and needs. It's just me, I. Like a machine would do. A machine would have a function, and its sole existence would be to engage in that function, to complete that task.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Like in an assembly line. Yep. The cars are going down. You've got robotic welders for the undercarriage to the body, bolting the panels together, all that shit, placing it one at a time. And then there's people that they can't have conversations. They can't stop and go, oh my God, that person's hurt. They got to go, oh my God, I got to Facebook Live this shit.
Holy shit!
Yeah, they do it because they, like, there was this, I can't remember who it was. I shared it on Facebook. Maybe you saw it. When people get a like or something like that on Facebook or a retweet,
triggers something in the brain.
It's some chemical that they figured out that it's like an endorphin and people feed on it, you know. And they think that by filming a fight and putting it on Facebook, it's like, oh look, this video I put on there of this guy beating an old guy on the bus got 1 million views. I'm famous. Or, well, no, you're not really famous. It's
people in the video are famous. You just facilitated it getting out there and going viral.
Yeah.
Well, people don't know each other enough anymore. You don't have to go out and talk to people to stop or stave off loneliness. You can survive wholly sustained on the social interactions of online interaction itself.
Maybe the younger generation, my generation, your generation, I don't think we can.
We don't, but they're going to start to outnumber us.
Yeah. But I think it's going to peak. Seriously.
I fucking hope so.
I think in sometime within the next 10 years, it's going to peak. Because, I mean, how much more shit could they possibly do with this crap?
Well, they don't know how to fucking function as adults. They get all the way to being in their 20s, and they've had so little sustainable, worthwhile human interaction that they haven't fully developed all of their cognitive processes so that they know how to handle things. So the slightest little trigger, and they fly off the fucking handle, and they're seething with rage because they're fueled off this online idiocy. And they just start attacking people. Look at the way that someone fucks up in our society. Somebody gets alleged sexual assault charges.
Mm-hmm.
Say there's not even close to any founding to it. Someone just says, oh, back when we were together, he used to beat me and he raped me once. You figure a third to half the population is going to instantly make up their mind and wish death upon that other person or financial ruin upon that person. And it's just like this constant climb to make ourselves feel better about who we are by stuffing everybody else down and shitting on them for things they do and say and think, instead of broadening your horizons and engaging in human interaction, because they have safe spaces in college.
You got to be kidding me.
People fly off the handle.
Well, part of that's because
if their thought patterns or their beliefs are challenged, and they're like, how dare you?
That's because how they're brought up and they were told by their professors who are uber liberals that, you know, no one can say anything to hurt you. No one is allowed to hurt you in any way, shape, or form. And they take that into the real world and they can't handle the fact that that's not how the real world is.
Where I'm basing my opinions, like the examples I started off with, all of this is not from what I'm reading in the media. This is from what I'm witnessing myself.
Yeah.
Being out on the road, interacting with strangers. I have no problem talking to strangers. I have no problem helping out other people that are in a jam in public that I don't even know. Because I was raised in a different time when you knew that you saw somebody in trouble, you could help them. Or you should help them. Instead of, oh, I don't want to get sued. Oh, I don't want to get this. Oh, I'm going to videotape this shit and then everybody's going to tell me how fucking funny it is so I can get some sort of sick sense of satisfaction out of somebody else's plight.
Yeah.
And I've never been a smartphone guy. Never been when I'm still the flip phone guy. because I don't want those stupid apps that force me to interact like that. I will use the internet because it's a necessary evil. You can only get away with surviving in today's world without a computer so much. But the greatest thing that could help mankind right now is if the power grids went down. Or if the internet somehow was taken down. Because there'd be no streaming. There'd be no online gaming. There'd be no more Facebook or Instagram or Twitter. People would have to seek out other human beings to interact. They'd have to build their own actual, real-life social network instead of this online crap.
I have an actual social network, yeah. It's nice.
But does not seem like people are just getting numb to everyone else's suffering other than for means of enjoyment online? How many people are like, oh my God, that's terrible, that person needs help, versus, ha ha ha, look at that, fuck you.
Oh, bitch, you got jacked, bitch.
It's like we don't have souls the way we used to. We're just hollow.
I think maybe, other than the social thing, like you said before, people are helping people afraid they're going to get sued. I know, I see you
It's online fear and hysteria.
Like 90% of the people that you help, like if somebody's car broke down and you help push it off the road, they're probably not going to sue you because you touched their car.
Right.
You know, if you tried to help someone who's injured and you accidentally, pulled a muscle in their leg and it made their leg hurt more I don't think you're going to get sued for that. Most people wouldn't. But the fact that a lot of people fear that you can be sued for virtually anything, that they're just less willing to help. And yeah, they probably figure, I'll just take a film. I'll film it. Look at this poor schmuck. Which, again, I don't know how people get enjoyment out of that. I like watching fail videos on YouTube from time to time. But it's not like, haha, that guy's a dumbass. It's just funny.
Well, a lot of it has to do with media manipulation, causing this fear. It's implanted in our brains because of all the doomsaying bullshit online and on TV. So with all of that fear and hysteria, people are, air quotes, programmed to naturally fear strangers and helping out and interacting because it could lead to some adverse reaction where they get injured or sued. And it's almost like a computer following code that's been programmed into it. We're being manipulated by the media and just dehumanized by living in fear, and then plus the screen time and the lack of human interaction to offset all of that bullshit. We're far less human than we used to be. That's what inspired all of this thought with me one day, because I saw a video online of somebody filming someone else get injured, and I'm like, look at everybody just standing there with their fucking phones out, enjoying this. And then seeing a kid who he's just sitting there, boop, boop, sitting next to a girl at a table at a restaurant, boop, boop.
Yeah, that was, we were up north on the lake. I told Pubert, is like, hey, there's a couple of girls there that look like your age. They look kind of cute. Why don't you go over there and say hi to them? He seriously had this, how do I do that, look in his face.
I don't know what I should do.
He looked excited, like, oh, I should, because he saw them. He was excited, but he had no idea what to do. So when he went over there, I'm just kind of watching him, and I'm doing stuff with my friends and my family and everything. He comes back over a few minutes later. I was like, so how'd it go? He's like, it went pretty good. Like, did you get their phone number? He's like, no. I said, well, it didn't go good. You need to learn how to interact with people, Pubert. Okay? And I just told him, it's like sitting in front of your TV all the time, not going out and engaging with people. I don't know how he is in school, but not engaging with people outside of school, not healthy. But again, he's got so much, those two things working against him, that I don't know if he'll ever be functioning normal like that.
It's a lot of kids his age are like that, and they don't have the greatest social functions like we did from interaction. And sure, we got bullied more and dealt with more shit, but it strengthened us and gave us more abstract thought time to consider how these interactions can go different ways if we let the bullying bother us, or if we come back with a witty retort like I learned to and stop throwing fists. It's like the I generation are almost the Borg from Next Generation. They're so fucking machine dependent. It's like they themselves are becoming the machine.
Maybe, in a metaphorical sense.
Interact with the show on Twitter at What Do We Call It? That is at What Do We Call It? You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/group/What Do We Call It podcast show. For the What Do We Call It podcast, I'm Jmann.
And I'm number one fan, Tim.
And that's the end.